Dave in Lawrenceburg. Okay. Thanks for hanging on. You're on ESPN 1530. Good afternoon, Dave. How are you?
I am doing good. Look, it's one game, 6 months of baseball. I know that you got your passion with that defense yesterday, but I'll tell you what my passion is. Baseball is baseball, and everybody should know how to, when they get up there in the batter's box, they all should know their jobs. And yesterday, I know Suarez is a big hit guy, but on bases juiced with one out, and they're playing double play depth. Why can't they lay one down?
You want Eugenio Suarez to lay down a bunt there?
Well, let's say a great hitter hits 3 out of 10 times. You want a pop up or a home run, he ends up striking out. I don't know the analytics.
I don't think you have to know. I don't think you have to know the analytics. Eugenio Suarez hit 49 home runs last season,
and he struck out today, and we left for 3 guys on. I'm just saying.
All right, wait. I'll put it to you this way, okay? Eugenio Suarez last year hit 49 home runs and had 0 sacrifice bunts. I don't know, man. A dude who had 49 home runs last year and had 0 sacrifice bunts, I'm more comfortable with him taking his hacks.
And I get it. First game, they'll all get behind him. I'm just saying baseball players to baseball players. If he would have done it, no one would have, ever expected it. And odds are McClain and his speed on third, we got to run.
Yeah, but I guess a couple of things. I guess a couple of things here. I'm playing for a big inning. I've got the bases loaded with 1 out. I've got a dude who, again, hit 49 home runs on the team. Didn't have a sacrifice bunt at all last year. I'm trying to see if at the very least he can lift one to the outfield for a sacrifice fly. I like that more than I like the idea of, in that situation with that hitter, laying down a bunt. I think if you were to ask Alex Cora, the manager of the Red Sox, what would you prefer a Eugenio Suarez do? He would say, yeah, man, lay down a bunt. Go ahead. So why would I do what I think the other manager wants me to do?
I get Major League Baseball. I know that bunting is not sexy. I know small ball's not sexy. It does, doesn't fill the seats, but still, and it's not like they're playing that game for a playoff game. And look, I get it, but it would never, ever, ever have been expected. And it didn't happen. You get 2 strikeouts, we're out of the inning. And
why do you want someone to do something that they're not good at?
How do you know he's not good at it?
He hasn't laid down a sacrifice bunt in 10 years.
Doesn't mean he's not good at it.
If he was good at it, do you think over the course of the last decade he would have laid down at least 1 bunt?
I don't know. No one teaches bunting anymore.
So no one teaches it anymore. So then he's probably not good at it. So in that situation, well, 1-run game. In fact, the game was scoreless at that point. You want him to do something that isn't taught, so he's not good at it. Like what is? You don't ask people to do. You don't ask a slow runner to steal bases. Why would you ask a guy who's good at hitting home? He's good at hitting home runs. He's bad at laying down sacrifice bunts, and you want him to lay down a sacrifice bunt?
He's bad at it just because he hasn't done it. Everybody's learned how to bunt since the time they're in knothole.
If somebody, well, you just said nobody teaches it anymore. So if somebody has 0 stolen bases, they should suddenly start stealing bags. If somebody has 0 stolen bases, wouldn't that suggest they're not good at stealing bases?
No, it's stealing bases and hitting are 2 different things. One is speed. One is getting the bat on the ball. It's apples and oranges.
Again, if he was good at laying down sacrifice bunts, do you think he would have at least 1 over the last decade? His last sacrifice bunt literally was in 2015.
I'm sorry?
His last sacrifice bunt literally was in 2015. If he was good at it, do you think he would have at least 1 sacrifice bunt on his ledger over the last decade?
In today's world, no. No way he would. It's not sexy enough for a power hitter to do that.
Right.
Ever.
So you just made my point. You just answered the question. You just made my point. He's not good at laying down bunts. So why in that situation would I ask a guy who's not good at bunting to lay down a bunt?
Oh, he just never does it. Why
do you think he never does it?
Because he's paid to swing the bat.
Okay, well, so he's paid to swing the bat. The bases are loaded. There's less than 2 outs. He's paid to swing the bat. You want to ask him to do something that he's not paid to do.
Well, at least he would. On bunting, you're more than likely to get the bat on the ball.
If you're good at bunting, yes. So he's not good at bunting. If he was good at bunting, he would do it occasionally.
You're assuming. You are assuming he's not good at it just because he doesn't do it.
If there's something I haven't done in 10 years, I'm probably not good at it. I haven't played tennis in 10 years. I haven't played tennis in 10 years. Guess what? If we got on the court today, I would embarrass myself because I haven't done it in 10 years.
Are you sure he hasn't practiced bunting at all in 10 years? That's pretty bold analysis.
I'm going to imagine that most of the time when a Eugenio Suarez, who has 325 major league home runs and 0 sacrifice bunts since Obama was president, I'm going to assume that he spends most of his time in the batter's box swinging away.
I don't know. Well, you know what? The thing of it is he struck out. They didn't get anything.
Right. Yes, I still in that situation. In that situation, if you had a chance in that situation to walk into the Boston dugout and say to Alex Cora, what do you want him to do here? Want him to try a bunt? Want him to? By the way, if he's bunting with a guy on third base, chances are the guy on third base, McClain, is running. So if he doesn't lay the bunt down, doesn't make contact, now the guy at third base is dead, and you've made an out without Suarez swinging the bat. Now he can't drive in a run on a fly ball to the outfield. Like, I would be willing to bet you, and this is obviously hypothetical, if you went into the Boston dugout right now and said, bases loaded, 1 out, Suarez is up, he could hit a grand slam, or they could ask him to lay down a bunt. What would you like to do, Alex? He would say, yeah, can you tell Tito to have him lay down a bunt? Why would you do what the other team's manager would probably want them to do?
Why would you ever go into the other dugout and tell them what you're doing? It's a surprise, you lay it down.
Dave, I don't have any more time to go around in circles with you.
I told you from the get-go, this is not popular. I told you that.
It's not feasible. It's not only is it it's not popular because why would you ask a guy who hasn't successfully laid down a sacrifice bunt in 10 years to lay down a bunt when he's on the team to hit home runs?
And you know what? In this situation, I was saying it beforehand, and then the next inning, Boston lays one down, pushes the guy over to third. They get a run.
Yeah, with a guy who's good at bunting. By the way, the guy would have scored with a hit anyway.
See, you're projecting that there would have been a hit. Okay?
I'm not projecting that there would have been a hit. Literally, the guy, after Narvaez laid down a bunt, literally the next guy got a hit.
And you don't know that's going to happen, though.
I don't know that it's going to happen, but it did. The dude would have scored. The guy would have scored from second on the hit anyway.
I mean, I'm talking, with a defense playing deep, and all he has to do is get the bat on the ball. A dribbler and McClain squeezing. I mean, look, it's the beginning of the season. You don't want to play it like it's the playoffs. I get it, okay? But I'm just saying in situations like that, in baseball, not Major League Baseball, baseball, it's done from the knot hole. It's done through high school. I know it's not done as much in college, but people learn how to win the game by small ball, and it's a lost art in the major league.
I won't argue with that. I think it's largely a lost art with a lot of teams. I think there are a lot of teams that play small ball. By the way, bunting doesn't happen nearly as much for 2 reasons. A, pitchers don't bat anymore. B, it's statistically been proven to be bad strategy. In that situation, and I appreciate the phone call, Dave, in that situation, Eugenio Suarez has not laid down a successful sacrifice bunt since 2015. He is not good at bunting. If he were, I'd see one good sacrifice bunt over the last 10 years. In that situation, I'm asking the dude to swing the bat. I'll take my chances. Unfortunately, he struck out. It happens. He's a high strikeout guy. I would be willing to bet if you said to the other manager, do you want him to swing or bunt? Alex Cora would say, please bunt. Why on earth would any coach or manager do what the other team's manager wants him to do? I appreciate the phone call, Dave. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.